The NBA's offseason continues to heat up. Tonight, join us as we break down the latest news in the NBA, including the shocking trade that took place last week as Jaylen Brown is no longer with the Boston Celtics. He has been traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. Join us right now for our Nation Sports Show. Next! The following is a feature presentation of our Nation Sports Show.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
Hello, everyone. It is a Tuesday, and you know what that means. We are here live. We are here to rock and roll, and it is our Nation Sports Show. Thank you to everybody joining us tonight. Thank you to everybody who joins us every week. If you're one of the few people that do, we appreciate your support, appreciate your time and effort. And we hope you enjoy ours. We got a lot to get into today, including, of course, NBA news, which we're going to dominate. We're going to talk about the massive trade that was mentioned in the intro. We're also going to talk about some other trades, some other signings and contracts, including a big payday for a certain member of the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're going to get into that as well. Obviously, we're going to talk about the devastating loss in the in the Olympic Games, or not Olympic Games, sorry, in the World Cup with the U.S. and Belgium. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a pretty insane thing that also happened during the World Cup that has some people bringing up an old fabled day, infamous day. If you're a fan of a certain NFL team, we're going to bring that up as well. But we're also going to do MLB news, MMA news as we get prepared this weekend, or I believe next weekend, for a massive fight between Conor McGregor and Max Holloway coming up as well. So we're going to get into that along with everything else we got to get into. Randy Giron, hopefully, will be joining us a little bit later. Hopefully, we'll hear from Joey Thornton and or Kevin Rory. But right now with me is my heavy metal brother from another mother. I don't have a good joke for him tonight, so I'll just say that his takes last longer than a Dream Theater song ever could. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Big Stephen Wyand.
I mean, hey, that's debatable. I mean, at least it's not 6 degrees of inner turbulence, but I digress. I think
your rants are 6 degrees of inner turbulence.
What is going on, everybody? We are here, and I'm pretty sure USA fans are ranting after last night, but we'll get to that. What a great time to be here tonight as we are here. It is July the 7th. It's the first show of the month of July, and we are inching closer to beginning our NFL coverage for 2026-27 in the month of August. As always, we are so looking forward to doing that as we draw so close to that, and the season is approaching very soon, and also training camp will be opening up very soon for all teams in the NFL. And NBA offseason is still kicking into high gear. Lots of trades, signings still taking place, and let's get to it. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and get into some quick NFL notes. And as I look back into good old Shefty's Twitter, obviously he's been bored, so he's been doing nothing but tweeting about the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce wedding, which, by the way, congratulations to Travis and Taylor, and we hope for the best for them. I thought it was ridiculous that they shut down MSG and built a castle inside Madison Square Garden. I mean, come on, let's be honest. as the old joke goes, the last time a Castle was in the Garden, his team blew the fourth quarter and eventually lost the NBA title. So, but it's all good. But let's get right into it. And one of the biggest stories coming out of the NFL. Let's see here. Actually, one of the stories coming out of the NFL today was the final. As many of you know, Marshawn Nealand had committed suicide at a tender young age. Well, today the posthumous diagnoses of his brain was announced, that he was diagnosed with stage 1 CTE. Obviously, that is from repeated blows to the head from contact sports, including football. So, unfortunately, Marshawn Nealand did suffer that. Now, was that the cause of his that's very much debatable, obviously. But it's, as we know, this has become a big thing over the years, and it's a touchy subject to get on, and we don't want to dive too deep into it, obviously, because we don't know all the facts and all the details about everything. But obviously, this is a big. Obviously, these researches are big in helping protect the players from themselves and protecting their overall well-being. Just protect the head, you protect the body, because obviously the brain is the central nervous system of the entire human body. So, but obviously, even in tragedy, this stuff becomes a new way to look up new tests, new ways, new ideas on how to protect the player's head from repeated trauma, how to protect the brain from being knocked around the skull like it does. And that's what we look for, and we hope to find some sort of permanent fix. But for right now, unfortunately, it's just the nature of the beast. It's a violent game, and those things like that are eventually going to happen.
It's so interesting, talking about this today, because a couple of weeks ago we were talking about CTE, and we were coming up on the anniversary of the Chris Benoit tragedy from 2007, which is hard to believe. Next year will be 20 years since that tragedy happened in June of 2007. And when you look at across the history of sports, when it comes to every major sport, I mean, the NFL has been one of the more predominant sports that has had some of the most high number of CTE cases when it comes to players. Obviously, that is found after they are deceased. And Mike Webster was the first one to come down in 2002, with being the first statistic of CTE, of known CTE posthumous, diagnosis. I mean, and obviously players like Junior Seau and who was the Chiefs player again?
Javon Belcher.
Yeah, Belcher. Yeah, Belcher. Obviously pro wrestlers like I mentioned, Wyand and Test, and it's just it's when you do physical contact sports, it's a very damning thing, because you're putting yourself at the risk of doing long-term or permanent damage to your body. And these players, they know what they are signing up for, because they know when they dedicate their craft to any sport they want to be a pro at, they're going to encounter the risk, factors coming into play, and potentially this happening. Now, when you see things like this happening, whether it be suicide or unfortunately the double murder suicide, Benoit and his family, and Junior Seau committing suicide with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, Belger killing his girlfriend and then himself. I mean, when you look at these statistics and what happens, I truly believe that if these players did not have CTE, I think that these players would have full, operations of their brain stems, and they would be in full control of their body and their actions. But when you have CTE, I mean, again, we're not doctors, we're just regular dudes, that do this show for fun. But in my opinion, I think that when a player or wrestler or other athlete has CTE, I think that whatever happens, they don't have firm control of their body. That's just my opinion. And I'm not condoning, you know, whether it be murder, suicide, or, that type of stuff. Because you can't justify that because there's nothing justifying that. But the reason why I think that happens is because they are not in firm control of themselves. That's why CTE is such a dangerous, dangerous thing.
Yeah, and it's tragic, and we see that all the time. That's why concussion protocol has been introduced, is because of things, whether it be in pro wrestling, in any sport. Now, most of the major league sports now have concussion protocol in place because of the research of people like Christopher Nowinski, who we mentioned a few weeks ago. And it's part of it, and we're glad now that this exists now to keep players from themselves, to protect players from themselves, and this helps keep the careers lasting. So, obviously it's a sucky thing, but it leads to more research and it leads to more information. And as we build more information, maybe one day there'll be a way to maybe fully or most of the way prevent it. We'll see. But I do want to move on to the other tragic news, and that was involving a player who just signed his last deal as a player, and that's Calais Campbell. Calais Campbell's mother was murdered the other day, last week, unfortunately,
Oh,
and
wow.
the person who did it was her son, not Calais,
What?
but his brother.
Man.
But the thing is, his brother has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. He has been mentally unwell. So something happened that caused him to flip, and he did what he did. But now he's being charged with murder. He's being charged with possession of a firearm or a knife, and I believe aggravated assault. So there's a lot going on there. We want to send our prayers and condolences to Calais and his family as they deal with this tragedy right now, and they deal with the possibility that more than likely his brother's going to go away for life because of this, or at least be in a mental institution because of his documented mental health discrepancy.
That is wild. Mm.
It is insane, man. But yeah, NFL news unfortunately has been kind of dry for this past week. Outside of Rasul Douglas, the cornerback of formerly of the Miami Dolphins, is now expected to sign a 1-year deal with the Commanders. That's pretty much it. That and Myron L. Rowe is a former NFL safety and a Rhodes Scholar who's got a doctorate. Has joined the NFLPA in a strategic advisory role focused on player health, brain cognition, and preventive care across the player life cycle. So that is pretty much the short of it. Oh, and Caleb Williams, of course, gifted Chicago native and current reigning Cardinal Pope Leo the 14th a autographed customized jersey from the Iceman. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Let's go ahead and head into the sock. Let's go ahead and head into this before
Real
we
quick.
talk about. Go ahead.
I want to bring up this. Now, this has nothing to do with this year's NFL season, but just before we went live, I did read this very interesting article about Denver Broncos head coach Sean Payton. There was a interesting little tidbit that came out today that reportedly in 2023, after Bill Belichick left the New England Patriots, obviously coaching them for years and years and winning Super Bowls and going to championship games, being in multiple Super Bowls with the Patriots as their head coach. Reportedly, Peyton, who was already at Denver as their head coach, And this obviously did not happen in 2023, but this would have been very unprecedented, and this would have been very interesting if this would have went down. So in this article, it was reported that Peyton was willing to step down for Belichick that year because Belichick won 333 games in his head coaching career. What Peyton was going to do was he was going to let Belichick coach the Broncos and potentially surpass Don Shula as the all-time winningest regular season head coach in NFL history. And his win total would have gone up to 348 wins. And then Peyton would have stepped back in as the head coach. That has never happened. And when I read that, I was floored. I was like, this is mind-boggling that this almost happened. But obviously, those cards did not fall into place. What could have been? What could have been?
Exactly, and that's something to think about. What could have been, but it is a shocking stat. But I mean, the way the cards dealt is the way the cards dealt, and Sean's done an incredible job since then, and has gotten the Denver Broncos to AFC title contention and everything in between, and has done an incredible job since leaving the New Orleans Saints. So.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Real quick before we get into soccer, we don't usually talk about goofy stuff like this, but how about this? And that is the July 4th tradition took place, and that is the Nathan's hot dog eating contest. And once again, your 18-time champion, Joey Chestnut, 66 dogs down the gullet to win this year. So
that is just unbelievable. Unreal. Unbelievable.
Yep, his 18th Nathan's hot dog eating contest win. He ate 66 dogs, where the nearest person underneath him was 51.
Whew. That is just, again, like how he manages to do that in the time permitted. My God, like that is just unbelievable.
All right, before we move on, let's talk about this laughable situation. And that is that fucking Terrion Arnold, who's currently facing a possible life sentence, cleared waivers today and is now a free agent.
What?
He's expected to visit NFL teams that have expressed an interest in signing him.
Hold up. Now, this is news to me. Who in the blue hell is willing to sign this idiot? Okay. I mean, come on. I mean, are you that stupid to want to have this guy's baggage on your hands? The old saying I live by, folks, is not my circus, not my monkey. And this damn sure ain't my circus nor my monkey. I am so glad I'm not with any of these franchises, because if I was, I would tell them, you're a dumbass if you want to sign this guy.
Go ahead, Jets. Go ahead, Jets, make the call.
Oh, my God. Go ahead.
Jets, make the call. Give Geno Smith somebody else.
Go ahead, Cowboys. Make the call. I know you're desperate for some defense. Oh, my God. Okay, so riddle me this. Okay, so let's hypothetically say and state this. Okay, whatever NFL team he is somehow on, because it'll be a miracle if he gets signed to a contract following these pending charges. Let's just say this. What if in the middle of the season, I don't care if it's the playoffs, if whoever he's on somehow makes it to the Super Bowl. What if it is the Super Bowl? Hey, dude, get your shit out of here. You're out of here. You're arrested. Get out of here. All that for nothing. Like, my God. Like, the fact that he is that desperate to sign to another team, and he actually thinks that there's going to be somebody out there that's going to go, yeah, our defense sucks. We want to get his talents because we know he's a talented football player. But what they're failing to realize is that you're also carrying his baggage and his reputation. And you know as well as I know, no matter what sport it is, we have seen these athletes that have been basket cases that have driven their teams into oblivion when it comes to becoming a huge distraction. Because whoever he signs with, I don't care if it's a great team. That is going to be the huge focal point of the season with that organization, whoever signs him.
And we will see and keep an eye where he possibly could end up. Well, if he doesn't end up in a prison cell first. But we'll see. Real quick, want to send out a quick congratulations to Monra St. Brown and his high school sweetheart Brooke Adams, who have announced their engagement.
Nice.
And you know what? We're going to quietly transition over to the World Cup because we got to talk about this.
Oh, this
We
was
have-
bad. This was bad.
Okay. Egypt had a game against Argentina in the knockout round. Egypt was up 2-0 at the 67th minute. When time had ended, they lost 3-2. And the epic tweet from Tom Brady after that game was over. Yeah, so that might top 28-3.
And think
I mean-
about
Just for real. This is just,
that was cold.
yeah, it was cold.
And
It was colder than a mother-in-law's kiss, as JR would say.
And what's also interesting too is if you really think about this from a historic standpoint when it comes to franchises and you know like the NFL, like with the Falcons and the Patriots, it is similar to this with Egypt and Argentina because the Argentina of soccer team has been one of the more predominant teams as far as dominance in soccer and the World Cup. Hell, they won it. They won it the last time. And Egypt had a golden opportunity to knock them out. Literally. No pun intended. And they blew it. Like, you have to capitalize on every opportunity that is right in front of you. I don't care if you're up 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals. You have to keep the foot on on the throat. You have to be aggressive. You have to stop the opposing team. If you don't stop the opposing team, you're going to be in a world of trouble. And Egypt, you had one job. You blew it. You blew it. You may never recover from this the next time the World Cup comes around in the next 4 years. You may never make it this far. Because we have seen it across every sport. When a team has a giant lead or has a 2-goal lead, a 3-goal lead, 4-goal lead, doesn't matter. We've seen it in every sport where one epic collapse can lead to a seismic curse. And the fact that Egypt had this golden nugget right in front of them and they couldn't capitalize. You had an opportunity at your fingertips. And like I just said, this, we've seen this. I mean, when a team, has a lead like this and they get ahead of themselves, hell, we just saw it with the Spurs and the Knicks in the finals. San Antonio was up 29. Everybody and their mother thought this game was over. but the Knicks kept chipping away. And they ended up winning the game. Argentina against Egypt. They didn't quit. They didn't surrender. They kept on fighting. Because you are not out of it until the game is officially over. And I know that we're going to talk about the U.S. team here in a bit, but I think they just got out-topped because this right here just overtook their defeat last night. Like, this was bad. And you know what's bad? When Tom Brady is tweeting about it.
Yeah, like that motherfucker doesn't have enough to do. I mean, besides being an analyst on Fox Sports and of course, obviously being in the front office of the Raiders, trying to get what's his name, Mendoza ready for the future of the organization. But we'll see. But moving on to the USA. The USA, of course, was coming into the matchup against Belgium with a lot of controversy because obviously Belgium originally in the game before that, the USA got a red card that originally suspended one of their sharpshooters for this game against Belgium. However, the committee that's behind FIFA, the committee, had decided to lift that red card suspension and suspend the red card so he could play. But Belgium tried to appeal and was immediately denied, basically. Of course, people attribute that to a political thing because obviously FIFA's people are known to be, I guess, friendly with the current administration. I'm not getting into a political thing. I'm just stating what I've read. But anyways, outside of that, USA came in there and they did not come to play. They lost 4-1 against Belgium and are eliminated from the World Cup, and that makes the entire North American continent out of World Cup contention, including the host country, which is us.
Unreal. I mean, the run that they went on this year, one of their better runs in a very long time, and it is their best run ever in World Cup history. All for that to come crashing down to reality, just like that. And I'm not going to make this about a whole political thing. No, this is a team thing. You have to be prepared for the moment. And I think that the pressure got to the U.S. soccer team. And you know as well as I do, individual players, teams have had these big pressure moments in front of them, and there are individuals and some teams that cannot overcome those pressures.
Yeah, and here's one thing. If there was one thing that could have helped them out, just to help them out a little bit to maybe get them that extra edge, they should have went to Danhausen and paid him a whole bunch of human mummies. Or at least somebody could have to maybe help curse Belgium. Maybe we could have had a chance, but we'll see. But it sucks. I mean, obviously it sucks they lost, but they made one hell of a run. Still truly is America's team. Ha ha ha. You get the point. But Cowboys fans. But let's go ahead and move on to the world of MMA. And the reason why I say that is because of the massive UFC card that is coming up this Saturday at 8 p.m. I believe that is 8 p.m. my time. No, I don't need a Mai Tai, but it is my time. And it's a pretty good card. But the main event is featuring two of the baddest motherfuckers to ever do it in a welterweight fight. It is Max Holloway taking on the returning notorious Conor McGregor, who hasn't been in the octagon since UFC 264 in July of 2021. His first fight in 5 long years.
And obviously, real quick, and before you continue, obviously the last big publicized fight that was supposed to happen with McGregor that did not happen was with Chandler.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but it's McGregor's first appearance in the octagon since then, and because obviously he broke his leg in that fight in UFC 264, and then it's Mars Holloway's debut in the welterweight division. And this will be the second fight. This will be the second fight between the two, as the last time they fought was when they were on the preliminaries. When they were on the preliminary card of UFC Fight Night, Shogun versus Sonnen.
Woo!
Mauricio Shogun Hua versus Chael Sonnen. And just in case Conor were to pull out or somebody were to get injured, Mauricio Rufi is going to be the backup and potential replacement. Because as we know, Conor has gotten injured or something has happened and he has pulled out for fights. And just also in case Max Holloway gets hurt as well.
Yeah.
Also on this card, we are looking at Benoit Saint Denise taking on Patty Pimblett in the co-main event. Corey Sandhagen's going to take on Mario Batista. Brandon Royval will take on Lonier Kavanaugh. Bobby the King Green will take on Terrence McKinney, and that closes out the main card. Then you got Robert Whitaker versus Nikita Krylov. The Gable Steveson versus Elijah Ellison.
Nice.
You guys remember Gable Steveson for his very brief run in WWE, and of course, his brother was Damon Kemp, a former member of the North Quarter Catch Crew in NXT. And then Corey Garbrandt will take on Adrian Yanez, and Luke Riley will take on Kai Kamaka III. And then, of course, Tracy Cortez will also be on this fight, or will be on this card as well. So definitely check it out. It'll be this Saturday on Paramount Plus. It'll be this Saturday on Paramount Plus. So if you got Paramount Plus, whether it's the lowest subscription rate or the highest, you can watch the fight there. So it should be a very good fight. This hopefully will be the full-time return of Conor if he stays healthy and can keep himself in the right frame of mind. We'll see what happens. Now, we can move on to the thing that's going to dominate most of this conversation, and that is the NBA. And, of course, the biggest news to come out of the NBA this week was the blockbuster trade, and that is that Jaylen Brown, the longtime Boston Celtic, is taking his talents not to South Beach, but to Philly. That's right. He's been traded to Philadelphia in exchange for several players, I believe. I can't remember the
He
names
was traded
off the
for Paul George and draft picks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Paul George. That's right, yeah.
I have a huge problem with this trade because for the simple fact that, for one, for the Celtics, why in God's name are you trading him to your conference rival? Because now you're giving Philadelphia a hell of a team with Embiid, Maxey. I mean, my God. I mean, and now Jaylen Brown's going to be on this team? I mean, Jaylen Brown, and rightly so, he believed that with the Celtics this past year, this was his chance to lead the team. He talked about not wanting to lead the team, and I completely understand that. But that's not up to your decision. That's up to the ownership, and that's Brad Stevens. And the fact that, for one, they bombed the Giannis sweepstakes and Milwaukee didn't bite the bullet and not get Giannis to the Celtics, which would have been the better trade, but that didn't happen. So I think that this trade in the end is going to benefit the Philadelphia 76ers as long as they can keep this core together. Because no longer does Embiid have to rely himself to be the focal point of the offense, because now Jaylen Brown can get his points. And he's a solid defender, unlike James Harden, but I digress. Paul George, and it's also hard times and the truth. Hard times, daddy. Paul George, when he is healthy,
Get ruined by LA Knight. Yeah.
Yep. Paul George, when he is healthy, is still a solid player, but he is 6.5 years older than Jaylen Brown. He's been doing this a bit longer than Jaylen Brown has. Jaylen Brown has no pressure on him. Why? Because he helped the Celtics win the championship 2 seasons ago. And he was the finals MVP. Paul George has a lot of pressure on him because he's coming to an organization that demands success. Because the great Celtics teams that have come before him, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, and that big three, then Paul Pierce, KG, and Ray Allen in 2008, winning that championship in their first year, turning that franchise around, going from, one of the worst records in league history, 24-58 to 66-16, winning the championship that year against the Lakers in 6 games. The Celtics of that core had no pressure on them because they've already won it all. The Celtic team that won it all 2 years ago was on pace like this 08 Celtic team, with Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White. Just Kristaps Porzingis is a great team, and they won it all. But when Tatum went down with the Achilles injury last spring against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, I knew that right then and there that was the end of this Celtic team, and they were going to be no longer the same team. And Jaylen Brown, now after having a great year with the Boston Celtics, leading this team to a way better record, over 60 wins this year, and a overall better record than anybody expected for the Celtics to do, because we all thought that the Celtics were going to be in rebuilding mode this past year, because of the Achilles injury to Jason Tatum and the fact that Brown was the only real reliable player from that previous 24 championship team. So when you look at the grand scheme of things on how this happened and why this happened, it just feels like to me that Brad Stevens thinks that Jason Tatum, this is his team. And Jaylen Brown and I think Tatum's egos were going to clash. And I think that Brown, rightly so, and he had a reason to think that, hey, this is my team now, because I did better, with this team in their absence. Nobody said this team was going to be anything, and I proved everybody wrong that I can lead this team, and he did. And the fact that they traded him for Paul George, sorry, it's a bad trade. What are your thoughts on this trade?
Yeah, my feelings are about this overall. Jaylen Brown has been kind of, in a way, looking to get himself out of there. Seems like he's been wanting out of there for a bit. He could put whatever statement he wants, but he got what he wanted. He's finally out of there. He's in Philly. Was this a bad trade on Boston's part? Yeah. But we're going to talk about some of the other deals that were made where players are joining him now. And we're going to get into some of those trades in just a little bit once we go through our list here, because there's a lot to get into over this past week. But look, as much as I could complain about the trade, look, Jaylen Brown has been consistently one of the best players in the league. There's no doubt about it. As much as his beard looks like it's been shaped by Fundo. Look, the guy is an amazing player, and can't doubt his talents. And I think that he's going to bring a lot to that 76ers team, especially him being with Joel Embiid. Like, those two alone make me scared to even want to have to face this team in any form or capacity. So,
yeah.
When you look at it for the grand scheme of things, as far as, look, Boston is in its kind of a rebuild phase, but they did make some moves that made some sense and got some good players. I just don't know what their season is going to look like now that they lost one of their big time stars. All we could do right at this point is let the season play out and see where to go from there.
And if I'm the Celtics fans, and I know they're going to boo Brown because he's on the enemy team that is your rival. But at the end of the day, if we're being honest, Brown did not want to be traded. He wanted to be a Celtic for life. He wanted to be with this organization to the day he retired. But that didn't happen. And this right here, I think, is going to motivate Jaylen Brown to prove to everybody that he can get it done on his own. And we'll see what happens. And look, and I'm not doubting Paul George's talents, because Paul George, when he is healthy, is still one of the best to do it. But look at his track record. His track record is not the greatest, especially his days with the Clippers. He couldn't win with Kawhi and James Harden. He couldn't win it with Russell Westbrook in Oklahoma City. And he couldn't win.
I don't think anybody could win it with James Harden, to be honest.
No.
That's like asking me to win a Super Bowl with Geno Smith. It's not going to happen.
No, that is true. And he couldn't win a championship on his own, leading Indiana in his prime, because George had to deal with LeBron in Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. So again, like you said, we'll see what happens. We'll see when the season starts in the fall on how this trade is going to pan out for both teams. I think on paper, the 76ers won this trade hands down.
Yeah, I can agree with that. We'll just see how it plays. Obviously, you can have as many superstars as you want on one team, but it doesn't mean that you're going to win a championship all the time. That just means that you got great players on your team. All it takes is one injury, one bad game, and it could change the course of the rest of the season. So we'll see what happens from here on out, and we'll be reporting on it as we do. So, let's get started with most of the trades that happened this week. With some key ones. Keon Ellis, who was from the Cleveland Cavaliers, actually signed a 2-year, $18 million deal to join the Brooklyn Nets. There's that one. But then also this, what about Luke Kennard? The sharpshooter from the Lakers has now signed with the Phoenix Suns on a 2-year, $13 million deal. Zach Collins, a free agent center. He has agreed to a 2-year, $17 million deal with Chicago. Let's see. Dean Wade, who is the free agent center or free agent forward out there, has agreed to a 4-year, $39 million deal with the Sixers. Of course, he was a forward for the Cavs. So that means he'll be working closely, of course, with Jaylen and Embiid and company. Bogdan Bogdanović has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Rockets.
Mm.
Marcus Smart has agreed to a 2-year, $13 million deal with the Houston Rockets.
Nice pickup by the Rockets. Because
Okay,
Marcus Smart is one of the better defenders in this league.
yes, he is. I
He's a
agree on that.
streaky shooter, but everybody wants us for his defense, and he is a reliable defensive player.
Yeah. The Pistons have signed John Collins to a 3-year, $51 million contract. Another free agent, Norman Powell, signed a 2-year, $45 million deal with the Bulls.
I love this deal for Chicago.
I do too, man. All-star selection in Miami and averaging 22 points a game over the past 2 seasons. And that's what we need for the Bulls. We need some shooting. We need some pressure and some shooting experience. And this guy has it in spades. I can't wait for him to be alongside our new free agents and our new draft picks. I can't wait for that.
Chicago has shockingly done a really good job in the offseason this year.
I mean, getting Thiago Splitter as a head coach, and which is I'm very optimistic about, cautiously optimistic, but very optimistic because of him being under the Popovich learning tree.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'll bring a lot of that expertise and a lot of that knowledge that Pop gave him while he was there to Chicago, and hopefully build this team into something that's more something that's going to be making a major splash in playoffs to come.
Speaking of San Antonio, a nice little segue there by you as Tobias Harris has signed with the Spurs, as reported by you last week on our chat.
Yes, it is. Tobias Harris. Vucevic has signed a 1-year deal to return to the Orlando Magic.
Wow.
Yep. He spent 9 years with the Magic, including he has a home that he still has in Orlando. So perfect spot for him to land, to go back home.
Yeah, he was with the Celtics for a cup of coffee, and that didn't last.
And also he was with Chicago as well.
Mm-hmm.
One of Stacey King's favorite shooters, God rest Stacey King. Mike Conley Jr. has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Celtics.
Oh, that's a good pickup for the Celtics because they need a reliable point guard. And obviously, Mike Conley's been in this league for a long time. Obviously, he's not the player that he used to be, but Mike Conley, when he is on the floor and he's performing at a high level, still he can shoot, he can pass. He's a really good point guard. I think this is a very solid pickup for the Celtics.
Yes. And you know what else was a solid pickup for the Celtics? And that was a current NBA champion in Mitchell Robinson.
Yes.
3 years, $47.4 million deal with a player option in the 3rd season.
Yep. And now Mitchell Robinson is going to take his defense and his rim protection talents to Beantown. And again, just like I said with the Brown trade to Philadelphia, I'm pretty sure when Mitchell Robinson returns to Madison Square Garden to collect his ring with the New York Knicks, he is going to get a standing ovation from that team because he was a huge contributing factor to that Knicks championship team.
Yeah. I think so too, man. The Los Angeles Lakers have acquired Walker Kessler from the Utah Jazz for unprotected first-round picks at 31 and 33 and first-round swaps in 2028 and 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Kessler will sign a 4-year, $130 million deal with the Lakers.
Wow.
That's a big-ass deal. Holy shit. Goes with a player option and a full trade kicker.
Wow.
Let's see. Who else here? Colin Sexton has agreed on a 2-year, $19 million deal with the Lakers. So there's that. Let's see. Here we go. DeAnthony Melton has agreed to a 2-year, $11 million deal to return to Golden State.
Mm-hmm.
Free agent forward Kelly Oubre Jr. has agreed to a 2-year, nearly $17 million deal to sign with the Pacers.
And I know Pacers fans are excited this year because Tyrese Halliburton is returning to the floor after being out the last year with that torn Achilles.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we're gonna definitely mention Tyrese and something else we got to talk about a little later. But right now, as we move along, here we are. Marvin Bagley Jr. has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Denver Nuggets. So there's that. Anthony Simmons has agreed to a 2-year, $12.3 million deal with the 76ers as well. Kyle Anderson has agreed to a 1-year, $3.9 million deal with the Raptors. Oh, how about the new lead assistant coach for the Spurs?
Mm-hmm.
Billy Donovan, the former head coach of the Chicago Bulls.
And the Thunder.
And the Thunder as well, yep.
And talking about Lowry, for a second, what a great career this guy had. I mean, just, all those great years with Toronto, leading that team to a championship in 2019, and to sign the one day contract to retire as a Raptor. He deserves it. And obviously, when his number goes into the Raptors, there probably will be a statue created for him because of his great contributions to that organization.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, man. Kyle Lowry, he deserves every bit of respect from the Toronto Raptors organization and the fan base.
And speaking of the Toronto Raptors, former Raptor, and who's been bouncing around the league for the last several years, DeMar DeRozan obviously is now as a free agent. And it's
Yep.
going to be very interesting to see where he lands in the next year.
Obviously, he's been with the Raptors, he's been with the Kings, he's been with Chicago. So we'll see where he
Spurs.
ends up. Spurs, yep. I'm checking to see other ones. Ooh, Namias Green or Namias Kita from the Boston Celtics has agreed to a brand new 4-year, $56 million extension.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 7-foot. He's a 7-footer. Who's averaging 10.2 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 1.3 blocks as the starting center. Let's see here. Free agent guard Caleb Love has agreed to a 2-year or 2-way NBA deal with the Sixers. How about this trade? The Lakers traded DeAndre Ayton to the Wizards for Jaden Hardy and 2 second-round picks in 31 and 32. 2031 and 2032, to be more specific.
That is very interesting because now the Lakers have completely downsized their team because DeAndre Ayton is a really good rim protector. And I don't get why they traded him. I don't get it.
This is, well, the Lakers will now focus on finding Walker Kessler's backup on the market, with centers such as Andre Drummond, Giannis Valanciunas, and Kevon Looney among those being considered. Well, the Andre Drummond conversation quickly came to an end because he signed with the fucking New York Knicks.
Wait, who did?
Andre Drummond.
Wow.
1 year, 3.9 mil. Yeah. Let's see. Looking. Oh, Patrick Ewing has agreed to become a new assistant coach for the Washington Wizards.
Huh.
Yep. Let's see here. Restricted free agent Quentin Post has agreed on a 3-year, $30 million contract offer sheet with the Memphis Grizzlies. The Warriors have until 11:59 p.m. Eastern tonight to match. Another Laker has left Crypto.com arena in a way, and that is Rui Hachimura.
Yep, going to the Clippers.
Yep, 2-year, $28 million. Let's see here. As we mentioned about the Sacramento Kings and the whole DeMar DeRozan thing, let's talk about this, and that is a massive payday for one of Cleveland Cavaliers' biggest stars. That man is Donovan Mitchell. 4 years, $273 million contract. 4-year, $273 million contract extension that includes a player option for the 2030-31 season and a full trade kicker.
Man, what a payday for Mr. Mitchell. I mean, he has become one of the best scorers in this league. And this is his second extension that he has signed with the Cavaliers. And just what a contract, staggering numbers. And Donovan Mitchell finally gets to the conference finals, but unfortunately he can't do it all by himself. And obviously his Cavalier team got swept against the Knicks in the conference finals. And I mean, Donovan Mitchell is a hell of a player, hell of a talent. And as long as he can stay healthy, he is going to be continuously one of the best players in the NBA. He deserves it. He deserves every penny that he's getting in this deal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's to me, he's one of the bright spots Cleveland has had this season. And that's saying something, obviously, with injuries plaguing him and all that stuff. But, man, Don Mitchell's been playing at the highest level he could play at, and he definitely earned this contract. Another high-level player we're going to talk about is Jaylen Brunson. And Brunson is undergoing surgery on his left wrist that he had hurt during the Knicks championship run. And now it requires off-season surgery. But the good news is he's expected to return to basketball activities later this summer.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he injure the wrist in I want to say it was either I think it was game 4. Game
Yeah.
4, game 1, something like that. No, game 1 was his ankle and his knee.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
knee injury. Yeah,
It's got to be game 4.
probably.
Anyways,
I don't remember, to be honest with you. It feels like a lifetime ago already.
oh, I know, which is insane.
Kevon Looney has agreed to a 1-year, $3.9 million deal with the Lakers.
I just read that. What a very interesting pickup for the Lakers. I think this is a pretty good upgrade because obviously Looney is one of the better defenders in the modern NBA. And Kevon Looney obviously was a huge integral part of those Golden State Warriors championship teams. And this will be a good pickup, I think, for the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely, my man. Let me check something here. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah. Real quick, circle back to the NFL. As we reported last week, Chris Johnson, unfortunately, he's in the battle of his life, in a battle for his life as he battles, of course, ALS. Well, Chris Johnson, in a statement, has asked to revive one of the most fun yet very much important things that could be done, and that is the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. If you guys
Oh
remember that,
yeah.
if you guys remember that a few years ago, Kawhi, or not Kawhi, sorry, a few years ago, the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge was brought forth to raise awareness for the disease and to encourage people to donate and spread the awareness about donating for continued research into possible treatments and cures for this horrific disease and for more study on it. And the goal was to have a bucket of ice water dumped on your head and to tag people or challenge people that you know to get them to do the same. And of course the proceeds from this, to donate or to all different ALS foundations that help do the research and funding for this horrible disease. So many people have done it. Pat McAfee has donated a massive amount of money towards it and has also done Ice Bucket Challenge and challenged, I believe, 1,000 people to do it. So, and I've seen other stars have done it as well. Other sports stars have done it as well. So if you get the chance, record yourself doing it and tag ALS Ice Bucket Challenge or even better, CJ2K ALS Ice Bucket Challenge on social media, and to help raise awareness and donate to help us eventually one day find a cure for this horrible disease. It's a fun thing. Yes, it's chilly, it's cold, but with the weather this hot, it's best to do it then. So definitely go ahead and give it a shot. I did it one year and it was shocking, but it was fun. Also, we mentioned about talked about Tyrese Halliburton coming back. The reason why I brought Tyrese's name again was because of something that happened this past week, and that is that a tragedy fell before the wrestling world, and that is a little 8-year-old girl named Scarlett Guillen who had a very rare, very aggressive form of brain cancer that starts in the brainstem, and she helped Charlotte design her gear for
Oh
WrestleMania.
yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, a couple days ago, she passed away
Mm.
as the disease took her life. And there was a GoFundMe put up to help pay for funeral costs, out of pocket expenses. Originally, it was set at 50 grand. It has smashed that goal, and as of yesterday, it was at 66 grand. And multiple people have donated, including probably the woman whose life was changed most by Scarlett outside of her family, Charlotte herself, Bailey, LA Knight, Wade Barrett. There was an anonymous $10,000 donation, and then there was a $10,000 donation from Tyrese Halliburton, who also donated a significant amount to help out. So that's why I wanted to bring that up. So, and also want to bring up how cool Pat McAfee is, because, Pat, as we know, has, he's got this 9-figure contract and all this stuff. He gave all of his people on his show, Boston Connor, Ty Schmidt, the one half of the Hammer Don crew, gave him Darius Butler, gave them all backpacks with 250 grand in cold hard cash in each backpack
Wow.
as a thank you for going on this ride with him.
That's a hell of a man right there.
He always takes care of his boys. He takes care,
Wow.
especially Ty Schmidt and Boston Connor, who have been with him since the very beginning.
That's a hell of a man right there. That is awesome.
Yeah, good stuff from Pat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's right now we're at the top of the hour. Um, we still got a little bit of time that we don't want to take it the whole time by wasting it on random topics. So, real quick before we go, we want to say congratulations to the new WWE Undisputed Champion, the best in the world, CM Punk, who made his triumphant return last night in Chicago as the match between Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn took a twisted turn at the beginning when Gunter attacked Cody and took him out. Well, that left the door wide open. CM Punk was ready to go, came out of the back loading lot of the Allstate Arena, gear on, ready to go. The one-shot camera from there all the way to the entrance. And man, it was on like Donkey Kong. That crowd was hot.
That pop,
but
that
that
pop,
pop,
that wow,
yeah, good.
that pop was just electric. And what was so cool is how they did the pop with no music. It's when the camera showed him, and they saw him on the Titantron, that crowd lost their mind. Like it was a cool way to introduce him. No music, just let his appearance on the screen speak for itself. And the crowd was so happy to see their hero. And a hell of a match between Punk and Sammy last night for the title. And it's also cool that Punk won the belt almost to the literal date when he beat John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011.
Yep. And to celebrate and commemorate that moment, he sat on the barricade, blew a kiss, and walked through the crowd with the WWE Undisputed title held up high. And he even posted a photo of the title in the refrigerator, exactly like he did 15 years prior.
Very cool.
So exactly, it was just cool. That they commemorated that moment. It sucks for Sammy, a 9-day title reign, transitional champion, but at least Sammy could say that he was a WWE champion. He could add that to his resume now and say, "Hey, you can now add forever in the history books that I've been a world champion in this company."
Yep.
So, wish it was longer. Yes, obviously we all do. But, we don't know what the WWE is thinking, so anything is possible. But
And it just seems like every time WWE goes to these major cities, they always seem to step it up. And Paul Heyman last night with Oba Femi had a hell of a segment back and forth with one another. And Oba, as young as he is, to be in the pro wrestling game, doing this for the short amount of time that he has, he's this good already at promos. Like, it's crazy. Crazy. And he's in there with Heyman. And he's holding his own. And we know Heyman's the greatest. He's one of the greatest to do it. But the fact that Oba is out there and he's going toe to toe on the stick with Heyman, like that was good stuff last night. And already, SummerSlam is shaping up to be one of the best wrestling events this year. Because there's no telling what they're going to do with Punk now as the champion. They could have him versus Cody. They could have him versus Gunther and Cody. They could have a fatal four-way with all four of them. Sammy, Gunther, Cody, Punk. I mean, who the hell knows what they're going to do? But I'm ready for it. And Rollins last night had a great promo. And even LA Knight, even though he's been struggling, he had a really solid promo last night, holding his own with Rollins last night. And Rollins, I mean, since he's switched to this serious character, no Joker gimmicks, none of that bullshit. Just going out there, doing his thing, cutting his best promos he has in a long time. And I said it last night. This is basically Tyler Black in WWE.
Sorry, I had to walk away for a second. Little John was screaming, "Snap your fingers, do your step. You can do it all by yourself." All right. But anyways, I did. Yeah, LA Knight had his best promo in weeks on last night, and I don't know if it was just the moment or if he had the right person or whatever the case is, but he was great. Like he did better than he's done in most weeks. He wasn't rambling, didn't mess up the words too much. He and this is a guy, you know, when you look at the whole grand scheme of things, like last night was a home run. Like to me, I thought it was great. I mean, we saw, you look at last night from everything from the Maxine turn to
Mm-hmm.
what we saw in the promo packages to what we saw the promos with like you said, Ellie and Seth, Brock and Oba, the Punk Sammy title match, the women's title match, even Sol Ruka delivering a flawless soul snatcher, and then it was definitely I will say definitely last night was a great Raw last night, one of the better Raws in a while, and I think it's going to add some intrigue heading into SummerSlam. Where's this title picture going to go from here? Who knows? As far as the undisputed championship, obviously we know where the world title's going. The world heavyweight championship is obviously set with Seth and Roman, and and we'll see what else gets added to the card. Obviously, I expect Bayley and Lyra to have a match at SummerSlam with the way the promo package came out. But yeah, definitely, this weekend was pretty busy with wrestling too. Again, we had GC Dub, we had SmackDown, we had.
Speaking of GC Dub, real quick, that was so freaking cool on Sunday, backyard wrestling style.
Oh yeah, dude. You want to talk about a freaking great show? That was unreal. It was weird. It was crazy. It was unconventional. But it takes me back to my old backyard wrestling days.
Mm-hmm.
As a guy who did that when he was younger, I know exactly what backyard wrestling is about. It's about the unconventional. And these guys were cool because they even brought back some of them who used to do backyard wrestling, even brought back their old characters, their old theme music from the backyard wrestling time. KJ Orso, for instance. KJ Orso instead was called Cage, which was his backyard name. And even then, Emil still continued the hatred towards KJ, as he always does in GCW. But he announced him as coming to the ring for the guy that's about to lose, Cage. And then he goes, well, Kate, so I've just been made a liar, and I just lied to you guys. The winner, Cage. And the funniest thing was one of the things was the main event. Or not main event, co-main event. I think it was our main event, whatever it was. It was the Pool of NyQuil match with one of the most unorthodox characters in independent wrestling. We've seen Orange Cassidy. We've seen Warhorse. We've seen Danhausen. Have you ever heard of Sleepy Ed?
What the hell?
It's a character that is literally in a pajama suit, long stringy hair, a beard, and he always carries a pillow and a blanket with him, and he's always acts like he's tired. But the man can wrestle. He can wrestle. And
he can literally wrestle in his sleep.
But, and then
God.
of course, Joey Janela was on the card. One of the best matches, though, of the night was a scramble match that involved some GCW guys who have been on the main shows, including Lucky 13, Connor Claxton, Anakin Murphy, and a few others, including a set part of the show where this guy, I forget his name, I think it's Tarzan Dan. He took this big club, he lit the top of it on fire. and it blew fire like Gene Simmons and nearly set Connor Claxton on fire. So Connor got engulfed in flames and had to jump into the pool right next to them. And mind you, this show is done, it's known as Backyard USA, but here's the thing. It's actually in the backyard of Big Vin. Big Vin is the son he's a wrestler, but he is also the son of the great 911 from ECW. And him and his father share a big plot of land together. And they host the show every July 4th weekend in this big open area in his backyard. And of course, Big Vin is also known as the weapons curator for GC Dub. He creates helps create all the crazy light tube, barbed wire, pane of glass contraptions that are used in GCW shows. So that was a great show. Obviously, SmackDown was a pretty strong show. They were taped, obviously. So, but now we look forward to this week, obviously, as we build into SummerSlam, as we build into. Oh, and by the way, I got to commend AEW for one hell of a Dynamite this past Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Got to say, they put on one of their best post pay-per-view follow-up shows that they've ever done. And got to commend the booking, the talent, and all this stuff. And I'm excited to see what goes down this Wednesday. We got a lot to look forward to. I believe it's Kenny Omega and MJF. I believe it's that, or it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this Wednesday.
Yep. And if Kenny Omega loses, he can't challenge for the AEW World title again. So we'll see what happens on Dynamite. Let's go ahead and get back into the world of sports. Let's go to Major League Baseball. As we wait, because there could be a possible appearance from our good friend, Mr. Joey Thornton, who may be on shortly. Let's see here. In the world of the major leagues, scores right now, we're looking at the Cubs and the Orioles up. Cubs up 1-0 over the Orioles. The Tigers are up on the Athletics 1-0. Braves losing to the Pirates 7-2. Maybe that's why he's running late. The Rays are beating the Yankees 3-6. Neil's somewhere drunk, so he don't have to watch the game. Astros and Nationals. Astros winning 4-2. And then the Brewers beat the Cardinals in a makeup game from May 5th, 4-3. And good news for parts of New York, the Mets are not playing tonight. So finally you get a break from them getting their asses handed to them. Oh, wait, did I say that? Whoopsies. Let's see here. There's been some good news for the Boston Red Sox. Is that Wilson Contreras has been added to the All-Star game. He is currently waiting on his appeal of his 7-game suspension for his part in a fight with the Nationals last week. So Contreras will join the list of players added to the All-Star team, which includes Pirates pitcher Braxton Ashcraft. Almost said Ashcraft. Billy Celeste. Jesus. I'm so immature. Cardinals closer Riley O'Brien. The latter three were named, replacing Jacob Mizwarowski, Max Meyer, and Paul Skeens, while Contreras will play for the American League in place of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He was elected to start the game, but the A's face first baseman Nick Kurtz will get the nod instead. Let's see. What are the standings right now? Let's take a look. As far as league standings, in the American League right now, Tampa Bay Rays are up right now. They have a 3-game lead over the New York Yankees right now, 52-36. Yankees are 50-40, with the White Sox right behind them at a record of 47-42. A big turnaround for the White Sox this year, which I'm happy to see.
Definitely.
Who's at the bottom of the American League? The Angels of Anaheim. 36-55.
Ouch.
They're 17 and a half games out of first place. And then the Dodgers are currently in the lead of the National League, with the Milwaukee Brewers behind them by 2 games. And then 4.5 games behind them is Joey's Braves. And then you have the Chicago Cubs 2.5 games behind them, with a record of 50-40. And at the bottom of the list in the National League is the Colorado Rockies.
They are the Jets of baseball.
Well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, because the fucking New York Mets are only a game and a half above them.
Yeah, they suck too. Fuck them.
Sorry, Elder. We keep trashing your Mets, but old man yells at clouds. No, it's not a Simpsons thing. It's Elder when he has to hear Creed music.
Or Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam.
Or U2. Or Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, especially
Or
Bruce
any
Springsteen.
Or any grunge band for the 90s. Let's see here.
We know he won't be naming one of his pets Jeremy. Just saying.
I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. I was going to go further with it, but I decided not to. I'm going to be a good boy, and I'm not going to do that. I can already hear Elder raging as we speak, so either that or Neil pissed him off. One of the two.
I do want to bring this up real quick. Very cool that 30 years ago on this date, the formation of the NWO at Bash at the Beach.
Yes. Yes, it is. It in one of the most pivotal moments of the Monday Night Wars, when it was finally revealed that Hulk Hogan was the third man and the NWO was officially formed.
Yup.
And it changed the face of the wrestling industry for forever, for better and for worse.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm trying to think, was there any other? I thought there was some other sort of wrestling news on this day. Let me check. There's a website called On This Day in Wrestling.
Where's
Hold on. I go to type the I part and in, but first thing it gives me is On This Day I See Clearly. That's how you know wrestling is when Google's giving you that. Let's
That
see.
is fantastic. Fantastic.
Also real quick, go ahead. Go ahead, Steven.
Also, quick birthday shout out to Marks turning the dirty 30 today.
Yeah, happy birthday, you youngin. I only say that because I just turned 35 couple days ago. So, which by the way, that was a great day, fun day. Couldn't have done a better day on that with everything going on. Also on this day as well. Oh, today's birthdays. Happy birthday to this guy, and that is, of course, NXT's own Vic Joseph.
Hey!
But also happy birthday to the man who changed the character that he's playing for the better, and that is Marcel Bartel, aka Ludwig Kaiser, aka El Grande Americano.
Yup.
And
Hey!
finally, we killed enough time to get this bastard on here.
What's up, dude?
Yo, what's going on, gents? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Unfortunately, yes.
Who asked your opinion?
Nobody!
Oh, I did. I did. That's enough. I asked myself, I said, self, would you make an opinion on Joey showing up? And I said, maybe. I said maybe. All right. Hey Joey, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
Oh, not a problem. Glad to be on.
All right, man. Let's get into obviously we talked about it pretty much everything, but we're gonna get it with you. Let's talk about the Jaylen Brown trade. Obviously, Jaylen Brown went to is obviously now a 76er. He got traded for Paul George, and also 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders. What are your thoughts on that trade?
Huge problem with this trade.
I knew it.
Number one. I mean, Jaylen Brown could not have made it any clearer. He was drafted by Boston. He wanted to play in Boston. I mean, he literally wanted to be in Boston for his entire career. But yet, the front office was twisting everything around like most team front offices usually do. And they were making it sound like Jaylen Brown didn't want to stay in Boston anymore. And I would think with somebody who's smart at basketball, like Brad Stevens, who is the president of basketball operations for the Celtics, I would think that somebody as smart as him would not want to twist words around to make it sound like a player doesn't want to play for him. Number two, why, oh why, in the ever-breathing living hell would you trade him to a conference rival? What are you trying to do, Boston? Give Philadelphia a deep run in the playoffs next year while you're sitting at home on your sorry lazy asses? Well, if that's what you were trying to do, then congratulations, Boston. Goal achieved. Because, I mean, now you put a superstar like Jaylen Brown on a team that already has Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, the up-and-coming second-year player in VJ Edgecombe, and now you're going to add Jaylen Brown into that mix. I'm telling you one thing. If that Sixers core front can stay healthy, I'm telling you, Philadelphia can make a deep run in the playoffs next year, something that Boston is going to live to regret as the season goes on this upcoming year. So, bottom line, congratulations, Boston. I hope you enjoy your stay in basketball hell because you ain't going anywhere anytime soon. And if I'm Jason Tatum, I'm finding a way out either before this upcoming season starts or as soon as this upcoming season is over. Or maybe even mid-season, whichever one comes first.
because this is great by you, Joey, because we could be experiencing another slow domino effect, just like what happened with the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis.
Yep.
Like this right here could be a slow domino effect that could come in full effect as the season looms large in the fall. And the fact that Edgecombe's coming into his second year in the NBA and he's already proven to be one of the better overall versatile players in the league at such a young age, and now that you add Jaylen Brown to this team, I mean, this Philadelphia team already on paper is better than they were last year because of who they got in Jaylen Brown. Because Jaylen Brown is a way better player than Paul George.
Yeah, and I mean, it's absolutely insane that Boston just literally traded one of their superstar players for quite literally, in the words of the great Kevin Rory, a bag of dog crap.
Yep. And we talked about this trade on Sunday while we were hanging out, and it's just mind-boggling that the Celtics went for this. Because knowing that they absolutely bombed the Milwaukee sweepstakes with Giannis and they couldn't acquire his services, they did the next worst thing you could do. And that's trade Jaylen Brown for a older Paul George.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, Paul George has done great things in the NBA,
Sure.
but at the same time, Paul George hasn't been the same ever since he left Indiana, or should I say, got traded from Indiana to OKC. Ever since he left OKC, Paul George hadn't really done nothing. And I mean, think back to the first round of the NBA playoffs earlier. Yeah, I want to say, yeah, back in May. Think back to May. Who were the who were two of the teams that played each other in the NBA playoffs? Oh yeah, Boston and Philadelphia. And what happened? Boston had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but did they win the series? No. Philly beat them in 7 games, and this is before they even had Jaylen Brown on their minds when it came to the NBA free agency and trade market. So now you subtract Jaylen from the Boston Celtics, put him on the Sixers, and yeah, this Sixers team already looks better, and this season hasn't even started yet. So once again, congratulations, Boston. Enjoy your stay in basketball hell because you're going to be there for a while.
The Celtics have been one of these teams that have done really well when it comes to upgrading their team and keeping the team going, whether it be draft selections or trades, what have you, in the last 20 years. But man, this team, I think, is going to experience the same staggering seasons as long as this team remains the way they are. Because it's amazing how a season or a off-season move can change the course of how seasons are going to go from here on out.
And yep, that's right, Steven. All it takes is a couple moves. And sometimes a change in scenery can actually help a player, but it can also hurt a player. But in this scenario, just like I talked about with John Morant last week being dealt to Portland, I think this scenario is actually going to help Jaylen. Because now he doesn't have to rely on just one other player. He can rely on 3 other players to back him up.
Whoa, and here, now obviously this is a rumor floating around. It says report LeBron is now taking the Sixers very serious after they got Jaylen Brown.
I mean, the 76ers are a possible option, but so are Cleveland, Miami, Minnesota, and Golden State.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I know LeBron would probably want to end his career at the place where it all started. But here's the thing. You got an absolute traffic cone who sucks God's green earth on defense in James Harden. Plus, not to mention, you got Donovan Mitchell, who earlier today signed a 4-year, $273 million contract extension with a player option after the 2030-2031 season, which, if you do the math real quick in my head, that's about an average of $67 million a year. So you're telling me that Donovan Mitchell, who, don't get me wrong, he deserves that kind of money because he is actually a great player for the Cleveland Cavaliers, unlike James Harden, who relies on his so-called scary-ass beard for everything, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But still, you're telling me that Donovan Mitchell signs his contract, and you really think LeBron is now going to want to go back to the place where it all started for him? I mean, don't get me wrong. Steven, like you told me earlier today, if LeBron really wants to go back to Cleveland, the only way he can do so now is if he takes a massive pay cut.
Yep.
And no LeBron, I mean, he's probably not going to mind taking a pay cut in general, but a massive pay cut, I don't think LeBron's going to go for that. Hang on one second. I'll be right back.
But you're good.
Please enjoy the soothing elevator music. And we say that, and smooth elevator music ends up being like fucking like some sort of symphonic death metal. Becomes like Cannibal Corpse or something, or like freaking Borgier, Behemoth. But as we wait on Joey to get back here for a second, please enjoy the Jeopardy theme. No, we're not getting sued. But real quick on the wrestling thing, to go back real quick while Joey's gone. Also, tonight on NXT, we got new tag team champions for the Vanity Project.
Nice.
And that is Dorian St. Dew and Sean Legacy.
Nice.
Who won a fatal 4-way tag team match during a title shot against the Vanity Project, who are the current tag champs. Also tonight for those who have Sirius XM on Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. Bully Ray will be back on the show, hosting once again. Of course, doing his weekly NXT takeover his NXT post-show takeover as he always does at Busted Open After Dark. So if you get a chance, please check that out.
Also, if you're into documentaries when it comes to wrestling, Dark Side of the Ring returns tonight with their most extensive coverage on any topic as of now, with the history of TNA, the long-going saga that is TNA Wrestling and its history, with Double J Jeff Jarrett obviously owning the company for years, and then Dixie Carter owning the company, and the struggles of TNA. And the first 2 episodes of that 3-part saga will air tonight. The first 2 episodes air tonight on Vice, and next week the 3rd episode of that 3-part series will air as well. So it'll be very interesting to learn about some of the finer details of TNA's history.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a fan of TNA since 2004, there's bound to be some information that I don't know. Obviously, I wasn't watching during the Asylum years. I know a little bit about it from some videos I've seen on YouTube, but obviously not from watching it on a more personal level because I didn't discover TNA until Accident in 2004. But the one thing I will say, you talked about Dark Side of the Ring, and we talked about, the return of that show. Also, don't forget July 21st is the return of WWE Unreal.
Yep.
And this time it will cover, the final moments of John Cena, the final months of John Cena's career,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the rise of new talents like Braun Breaker, um, Trick Williams, Lash Legend, obviously Obafemi. So check that out if you guys get the opportunity to, as well. WWE Unreal. So,
All right, I'm back.
all right, welcome back, Joey. Um, You mentioned Donovan Mitchell. I think you were in the process of talking about that, weren't you?
I think I just finished because I was saying that in order for LeBron to go back to Cleveland, he's going to take a massive pay cut, and I don't think he's going to want to do that.
Yeah. Let's see. What are some of the how about this? How about this headline? And that is that Donovan Mitchell has obviously left New York, as we all knew that was going to happen. But I believe he has signed with. Damn it! How can I forget this? Steven, help me out here.
Who are we talking about?
Not Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell Robinson is what I meant.
Oh, the
Sorry.
Celtics.
Celtics.
Yeah, he signed with Boston. Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Joe?
Well, I mean, I know Mitchell Robinson was kind of one of the forces behind New York winning the NBA Finals, so maybe he just wanted to go, or maybe he just wanted to find a new team to play for. I mean, there's not really much we can say. Of course, I think I saw something earlier today that Boston also signed what's his face? Mike Conley Jr., I believe.
Yep. That was
Yeah.
earlier today as well.
Yeah. And then also, what about the big signing for the Lakers when they got Walker Kessler in that trade?
Oh
And then
yeah.
they signed him to a massive 4-year, $130 million deal.
I mean,
I mean,
I get it. I get it. The Lakers are Luka's team now, but I mean, it's not like they're gonna have the lineup to try to be a threat in the West. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they may still get a winning record, but you're still in the
Dude, I highly
same.
even
You're
doubt that.
still. I mean, you're still in the same conference slash division as teams such as the T Wolves, the Nuggets, the Thunder, last year's runner up, the Spurs. So, I mean,
dude, I highly even doubt that. I don't even think the Lakers are going to sniff a really good record because, I mean, LeBron's not returning to the team. Obviously, Anthony Davis is no longer with the team after that horrific trade. And LeBron's obviously going to be playing elsewhere, in the offseason. Luka, having to rely on him and Austin Reeves to be the leaders of this team. Like, Luka's a great offensive player, but we know where his Achilles heel is, no pun intended, and that is his defense.
yeah, because I think Kevin, when I heard him on the show last week, or maybe it was a couple weeks ago, but he was talking about how Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves are literally traffic cones on defense, just like James Harden. I was like, well, he's not wrong.
Yeah, and that's you can't. Yeah, when you say traffic cones, are they? freshly made traffic cones? Are they hit traffic cones? I mean, what are we talking about here?
Oh, they're hit for sure. I mean, because every time Harden was on defense, he was getting hit all the time by Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
And same with Luka in the finals a couple years ago with the Celtics, because Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Drew Holiday, Derek White, they were always attacking him because he can't defend.
Speaking of the Lakers, they signed a former Golden State Warrior
Yep.
earlier today, specifically Kevon Looney,
Yep.
to a 1-year, $3.9 million deal.
That's a pretty good move by the Lakers.
Oh yeah, and I got to ask you about another big signing.
When this broke not even an hour ago. The Detroit Pistons are trading Karis LeVert and 2 second-round picks to the Bucks for Taurean Prince and Gary Harris. Interesting.
Huh.
Speaking of, you mentioned the Detroit Pistons. How about one of their former star players, Tobias Harris, signing a 2-year, $31 million deal with the Spurs?
Now that is a smart pickup for San Antonio because, one, Tobias Harris is a big man, something that San Antonio desperately needed to help fill the shoes that Wembanyama could try to fill. Now, I guarantee you that Tobias Harris and Wembanyama are going to be doing some off-season training, and I guarantee you that knowing how big of a man Harris can be down low, it's going to convince Wembanyama to pick up some muscle here in this offseason to where maybe he can start doing more posts and not pulling up all the time. So this is a very smart pickup for San Antonio. Smart pickup.
Yeah, I think this is a smart pickup by San Antonio because this can also add, size and shooting to the team, and San Antonio can use all of the weaponry to boast their offense and their defense.
Sorry for that. Let's how about this real quick as well? Trying to look down the lane here. Doing it. This was one of the big deals that I talked about. Me and Steven both agreed that this was an absolute smart deal here, and this was. Hold on. Here we go. Norman Powell agreeing to a 2-year, $45 million deal with Chicago.
Norman Powell, that's a name that you don't really hear a lot of.
Yep, the former Miami Heat. He averaged 22 points a game over the last 2 years.
Wasn't he a former 6th Man of the Year award winner?
I
Yes.
believe.
Yes.
Yeah, he was also an NBA All-Star this past season as well.
And like we said on the show earlier,
for the Bulls.
Chicago's done really well in the offseason so far with their pickups. And it was also reported earlier that Vucevic is returning back to the Magic.
Interesting move there.
Yep.
Yeah, there was it was a busy day in Charlotte too because they officially signed both of their draft picks, as well as point guard Kobe White to a new 3-year deal officially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also too, you mentioned a Mike Conley trade, or the signing also another another big one was Billy Donovan becoming the new lead assistant coach in San Antonio.
Oh, but wait, how about the big headline, or yeah, sort of big headline that made news around lunchtime today when a player who wore number 7 officially retires on 7/7. That, of course, being Mr. Kyle Lowry, who signed a one-day deal as a Toronto Raptor to wrap up his 20-year NBA career.
It's only fitting.
It's only
7-7.
fitting.
Only fitting. What a career. And it also begs the question, and I asked it earlier, where would DeMar DeRozan end up this year? Because he played with Lowry in Toronto, and obviously he played in San Antonio. He played in Sacramento with the Kings. And it'll be interesting to see if the Celtics go after him, if maybe Philadelphia goes after him, maybe Chicago does, maybe the Knicks.
Maybe Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anybody can go after him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I got a feeling he's going to get signed somewhere.
I think so too. I honestly think DeRozan's going to pick a team that he's going to think that is going to be best fitting him to potentially win because he's been in this league for a long time. And obviously he's pretty much past his prime, but he's still a hell of a player. I just think that he's going to pick a team that's going to potentially give him the best shot to potentially win a championship.
Well, in that case, I have the perfect name on the list.
Who?
Not sure if they might go for it, but the possibility is always there that he could go back to where it all started for him.
Toronto.
Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Because he could help elevate Kawhi Leonard's game as well as help be a veteran playmaker alongside Scotty Barnes as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Steven, quick question. You have Vice, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, for those watching who have YouTube TV and don't have Vice, go to Tubi. Tubi has Vice streaming right now.
Oh, wow.
For if you want to watch Dark Side of the Ring tonight. I believe it does.
Yeah, I know it's with Sling, it's with Philo, and it's also with the Hulu Live TV package.
I know I don't want to pay any extra for anything.
But if it's on Tubi, that's great because obviously that's free.
Yeah, because it says you can stream Vice TV for free on ad-supported platforms like Tubi and Samsung TV Plus.
That's really cool.
So, you said it's on Philo too, right?
Yep, it's on Philo, Sling, and Hulu Live TV package.
Okay, thanks. But back to go ahead, Joey. Continue with what you were saying.
Oh, no, I was done.
Oh, good. You took a long time anyways. Oh wait, did I say that? Whoops.
Too late, he did it already.
Yeah, too late, you did it already. But no, seriously, what I'm excited for most about this season right now is what are these new teams gonna look like in the end? I mean, what are we getting ourselves into? That's a question that I have.
And I'm wondering the same thing.
And who's going to play the best and which team's going to falter at the seams?
Yep.
We'll find that out. We'll find that out soon. Joey, do you have any news notes you want to get into Anything off the top of your head that you could think of?
I don't think I do. Not sure if it's going to be much of a difference, but I saw that my Commanders picked up another cornerback yesterday.
I think I
Former
read.
cornerback, Rasul Douglas.
Yes, I did talk about that earlier today, but
Yep.
Yeah,
that is cool. You guys.
Yeah, I was signed to, I believe it was a 1 year, $3.8 million deal. So, hey, some extra, yeah, some extra helping for the corner. So,
Yep.
yeah, that could definitely help us. But other than that, I think I'm clear, actually.
Well, real
Same.
quick, I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about what may be one of the worst things to happen, and that is Egypt's collapse
Oh, dear
against
God.
Argentina. They were up 2-0 at the 67th minute.
They
Lost
were
3.
up 2-0 in the 78th minute.
Yeah, and then lost 3-2 at the end. Did
That
you
is Falcons-esque.
did you read what Tom Brady said? Did you hear what Tom Brady said, Joe?
No.
He said, "Yeah, this might even top 28-3."
Dear God.
The man who made that possible fucking said that.
Man. Egypt's defense, I don't know what in the hell happened between the 78th minute and the 90th minute, but they just, oh my gosh, they fell apart. I mean, they literally held Argentina, one of the heavy World Cup favorites, in check 3/4 of the game. Unbelievable.
It's insanity. But I think that's it for me. Steven, any more from you?
I think that's good for me.
All right, let's close it out the way we do. Joey, you first, my friend.
I will say, I mean, even though um, our run in the World Cup didn't ended the way we didn't want it to, I mean, it was still a great year for the U.S. men's national team. Hate that we couldn't solve Belgium's top-notch defense and scoring, but I mean, hopefully one of these years the U.S. will win a men's World Cup. So that way the women won't be the only ones winning it, which they've won it twice. But yeah, it was a great show with you guys. Glad that I was able to hop on for the last few minutes. Hope everybody stays safe over the 4th of July weekend. And football's coming up soon, baby. Ready to get started. But that's it for me. Peace out.
All right, Steven.
Great job by you guys. Thank you for those that are tuning in here live or on demand. Lots of fun here tonight, and glad you could hop on here, Joey, and he is out of here. Fun time with him this weekend with Kevin, hanging out by the pool this weekend, having a good old time with the boys and their families and stuff, and looking forward to being back on here with you guys next week as we continue our coverage of the world of sports and the latest news in the NBA and all of that and so much more. You can follow us on Twitter or X at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook.com/Nation Sports Show, and where we are live on YouTube at YouTube.com/Nation Sports Show. Also, don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter or X at Nation's Corner. Everywhere else across the Facebook, the Instagram, and the YouTube channels, they are all simply at the Nation's Corner. And great show by all of you guys here tonight. And looking forward to being back on here next week. And again, we're going to end this show on a cold ending with no outro yet. We're still waiting for that for Hijacker to give that to us. And yeah, what a fun show tonight. Hope you guys had a happy and safe 4th of July with your family and your friends. celebrating 250 years of America. Fuck yeah. And with that being said, Ezra, wrap us up, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you guys so much for joining us as always as we look forward to talking sports with you every Tuesday. Don't forget this week coming up, obviously we're gonna have the run back from UFC 329. We'll see what happens there, as well as any other NBA trades and all that stuff in the offseason, as well as we get ready to build toward the NFL preseason, which will be in just a little over a month. So we're going to be excited for that. We're going to get things going with that soon. Also, places we're going to be at. I'm going to be at 3 Years Hollow, Trackside, and another band called Southside coming up here on the 11th from Shenanigans, right up here in Portage, Indiana, just about 5 minutes away from my house off Route 20. You're going to be there. Check it out. Tickets you can get at etix.com. Only $10 right now, or $16 for buy 2 tickets, get one, or buy 1 ticket, get 1 free. So definitely check that out. Also, AEW announced All Out will take place September 26th, live from the Now Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. I will be there alongside with several of my members of Too Sweet Cosplay. Not only will we be representing Too Sweet Cosplay, but also, of course, be representing Nation's Corner on location. You'll be seeing updates from me as we get closer as to what else could be going on. They also announced the All Elite Comedy Show, which will take place all out weekend. That'll be hosted by Cole Cabana and RJ City. Appearances and any autographs and all that to be determined. So stick with our pages for all that information. So with that being said, for all the boys here, for Kevin, Joey, Steven, Randy, and everybody else in the Sports Show Nation, and Hijacker Mike, of course, at Mr. Mac, at Smoke in THABY, Smoke in the Bay. I'm Ezra Vickery. We will see you next week with another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great trip. Have a great week. See you next time. And join us next week, or you are cursed.